and welcome to Graceful Connections presented by Academy for the Soul. I'm your host, Sophie Bidar, and the co-creator of Graceful Connections, together with Christel Hughes, founder of Academy for the Soul, the online school for intuitive arts. Graceful Connections is an adventure of exploration, discovery, healing, liberation, growth, and truthful expression, which is facilitated, amplified, magnified, and blessed really with grace. As graceful connections are woven between you and our expert speakers, your graceful guides into living your divine radiance. Thank you for being with us and bringing your unique vibration, colors, and energetic imprint, without which something would be missing. Thank you for answering yes to the calling of grace and for your willingness to fully and completely embrace, express, own, simply live your divine radiance. So let's begin. I invite you to relax and take a few deep breaths. Breathing out all that does not belong to this moment. Let's bring all your attention and your presence here and now. We set our intention that our time together, all that we share in words and beyond the words, all the energies that we call in and flow serve our highest good, our evolution, our service to the highest good of all. I invite you to open your heart, or open it even more, and be ready to receive. And to open your mind, or open it even more, and be ready to receive. Remembering your connection to the new Earth crystalline grid, and your connection to galactic center, the center of truth, so that you are held, both grounded and suspended. You are safe, relaxed, and ready and open to receive. Now I'm calling the orb of grace from the heart of the universe, and placing the orb of grace around our group, our gathering, and each and every one of us, that we be held in the orb of grace and infused with grace all along our time together. Let's take a moment to adjust to the purity and the subtle high frequency of grace, allowing it to gracefully dissolve, realign, harmonize, amplify, magnify all that needs to be so, in purest alignment with divine will and the divine order of grace. And breathe. Beautiful. Now within the orb of grace, I'm delighted to welcome our expert speaker, our own brilliant Margo Fraser, Academy for the Soul Master Teacher, who will be sharing about awakening the divine forces of night, chaos, and form within for love, creativity, belonging, and manifestation. Margo is a nature mystic and cosmic connector who's able to weave high vibrational light messages into your being. She unmasks and releases energetic wounds, triggers, and sabotaging beliefs, conscious and unconscious, that can have you running ragged, feeling off track, depleted, confused about your purpose. She channels the celestial healing and revitalizing nature energies and essences in collaboration with divine beings. Margo is a certified intuitive strategist and master teacher with the Academy for the Soul. She's also a certified human design professional trained through the International Human Design School in the deepest levels of this science of differentiation. She's honored to facilitate empowering results that free your vital life force as you understand and embody the magic of your unique divine nature. It is such a blessing to have you with us today, Margo. Welcome.
Thank you, Sophie. Hello, everyone. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm excited for this topic today. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. We are excited too because Margo is going to share her expertise about deep forces of nature within us that are ready to be awakened and embodied. So we'll discover how to do that and for what purpose. And Margo will offer a profound experience meeting your essence of night. So you'll discover what it has to show you, whether you have any resistances to this connection, and you'll identify what needs to be healed for deeper connection and to open yourself to those sacred essences in a greater way. And then on Friday, March 29th, we'll gather again with Margo for live intuitive readings galore. For now, let's embark on a fascinating exploration of the primordial powers inherent in the light essences of the night, chaos, and form. And I'd like to begin with setting the stage, having you set the stage, Margo, and share with us about what is meant by cosmogenic and forces of nature.
Yeah, we don't use that word cosmogenic very often, but it really refers to the origin of the universe and what was there, what happened within that. And so there are, cultures have their different ways of explaining and describing what was there. And in human design, there's a cosmology as well. There's information that came through. And so as I've been connecting and learning more about these ancient goddesses, Nyx, the night, chaos, and form, Gaia, there's been kind of this alignment that's occurred. And what are these primordial forces that existed then that, because they are the creation forces, exist within all of us? We have these powers of nature, these forces of nature, this creation essence and energy built within us. And yet it has been so suppressed over time. There's probably a lot of people who don't realize that chaos was a goddess, a feminine goddess, and so was night. Gaia, we know, Mother Earth, right? We're more in touch with that one. But the other two, not so much. And they didn't really have any cults or, temples and that kind of thing, but they were there. And they're referenced, all pervading, and they continue to be there. They continue to, through us, bring their energies, their vital essences to support us in our manifestation process, in our sense of belonging, in understanding, and really coming to embodiment within this body vessel that we have as the vessel for our consciousness, and being this self-reflected consciousness in form. So they're a beautiful representation. I'm sure there's other cultures we could look at, and pulling from the Greek goddesses as an access point to understand these forces. But boy, there has been so much suppression of that nighttime and chaos. Chaos originally was not this disorder that we think of now. Oh my gosh, everything's in chaos. Originally, what chaos meant was the void or the chasm. And one of the things that we know now, even from science point of view, is space is not empty. Right? Space is not empty. Right. There's all sorts of things, dark matter, dark energy, neutrinos that have mass, that have energy, that are there as these forces waiting for the alchemical process to bring them into form, to bring them to life. And we have this alchemical ability within us. And it's like we've disconnected from that, out of that suppression. Everything has been about the light, right? And in the beginning, no light. At the same time, it wasn't nothingness either. There were these primordial ingredients, that were there and waiting again. And so as we connect with this energy, I call it the light of the dark. Everything has its polarity, right? Everything has its polarity. Even the light, there's a dark side of the light as well. But we've put so much emphasis on the light, right? Because we can see. Oh, the night. Oh no, the night is something to fear. That's what's come out of this, right? Fear the unknown, fear what you can't see. And boy, can it ever send us down rabbit holes. So this over-reliance on what we can see has kind of, had us grab on to the light as the thing that we want to achieve, we want to get to, we want to flow more of. And also because we can measure it. Boy, does the left mind love the light. Equals MC squared until it doesn't, right? Light is what allows us to measure. And the left brain loves to measure. It loves to have something to compare to. And so this is the other piece of it. And why, this emphasis on the light has been so strong. And yet the light of the dark also holds all this creation energy. It is this originating energy. From a human design perspective, this was interesting information, was that the originating force also was yin. It was feminine. And it was two yins coming together. One, a more yang yin, with a more yin yin. Two becomes one. And we can see that in our own creation process, literally, the physical creation of humans. The egg, yin, and the sperm, well, it's still a form. So there's some yin there, but it's an active yin, two coming into one. And that two coming into one then splits off, can split and create this whole human being.
Right.
And this whole cosmos in the same way. So it's a really profound force, these primal forces to get in touch with again. And we can talk about, why, why they got so suppressed for sure. But that's kind of the lead in, the light of the dark is just as valuable, and we need to balance it with the light qualities.
Right. Yeah. And I was just kind of reflecting on that as I listened to you, Margo. Why has it been suppressed? Is it because it is scary, or has it been made to be perceived as scary hasn't been labeled as scary, whereas in fact it is powerful, much more than it is scary, right? This whole
Exactly.
mystery, right? The mystery of the night, the mystery of the chaos, all of this is so mysterious and totally out of control. As you said, in the light, we can measure, things are clear, controlled or controllable, easier to control and to manipulate, I guess, as well. But that's a whole different story. And what I'm sensing, and I'd like you to elaborate on that, is that if we feel that it's scary, or if what comes to mind, maybe even more for chaos than even for night, but for some it is, there is also a fear of the night or fear of the darkness, of being in the dark. But if it feels scary, is it really scary, or has it been made into scary, right? So I'd like to
Yeah, exactly. So this is really where we see the impact of the patriarchal forces.
right.
And when I use patriarchy, I'm talking about a very specific philosophy that's about domination. It's about control. It's about power over, not
Mm,
power with.
right.
So as those patriarchal forces were established, they weren't always there. When when anthropologists look back over time, there were a lot of matrilineal societies, more than we would think, where there was a more even balance between the masculine and the feminine. There was really an fascinating discovery in what is now Turkey. There's old ruins there where what they ate was the same, because that was one of the things they originally said. Oh, you were going to see their diets are completely different because they have different roles, right? Well, in this society, even the heights weren't much different. Very balanced.
Mm,
What has occurred is people as resources. This was the powers that be when they started to count people. A lot of times when you look up with the origins of patriarchy, they say there's a lot of people that are talking about the agricultural society. So in agriculture, the men were stronger, and so they, kind of dominated. And then as you dug into this, no, women have worked the fields for ages. Women, we know they were shepherds in some cases. There's something off there in the timeline. It doesn't
yeah.
line up with the start of agriculture. What it lines up with the start of is when society started to really keep records of people and resources. And now we need more resources. So the leadership, the powers that be, then are like, okay, men are stronger. We need them to be warriors to defend.
Mm-hmm.
Women, they produce more people. People are resources. That's their role. And so there started to be this gradual shift of women out of leadership positions. Pressures, your role now is to make more babies, make more of us.
Right.
And for the men to be warriors. Your allegiance is to the state, to the country, to the powers that be, not to yourself, not to your family.
I was going to say, not even to your family, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Divide and conquer, right? It's really a divide and conquer mindset.
Yeah.
And so buried within that, I mean, the way that it was really kind of forced was using a lot of shame and humiliation. And you can find records of that. So to keep people in their place. Now, this isn't only suppressing now the feminine. This is your role. You don't get to do anything else. It's also suppressing the masculine. This is your role. You don't get to do anything else. And we know societies where having a male son became, this is what we need. and your failure. Your failure as a woman, first of all, if you don't have children, and if you don't have sons.
Right.
Huge amount of pressure placed there.
Well, that's still very prevalent in many areas.
Oh yeah,
including
exactly.
including in Western societies, right?
Oh yeah,
So,
absolutely. And to really make that ingrained, because this is a time, you know, when there were the gods, there were the Olympians, the Titans, and then the Olympians and so on. Now the mythology has to shift. We got to align our mythology with what we want to create in society so that people will follow it. So again, you see the mythology. I mean, there's very little original left, just little bits and pieces, but enough to see the shift occurring. So where night was beautiful and, you know, one of the originating forces, and chaos too brought forward all that is. And Gaia was one of the original, you know, was birthed from night in some cases, just spontaneously birthed herself in other cases, just depends on the stories there, the mythology. But they were really venerated. Well, now they were given the birthing of monsters. It's something you need to be afraid of. They needed to be diminished. And those powers were transferred to masculine gods. And they were given all the powers that the feminine gods had had, sometimes by consuming the feminine gods. You know, Zeus would consume, right? So yeah, you started to see this shift in the mythology that was paralleling what was happening in the material, in the physical realm, in families, in societies. And with that came all sorts of limiting beliefs. You know, you're not of value as a man if you're not a good warrior, if you don't serve your country, your state. You're not of value as a woman if you're not giving birth to babies. Don't be going off and thinking you could do something else. We're going to shame you into place. So very deep, this sense of unworthiness and creating, oh my gosh, stay away from the night. There's monsters out there. Don't go out. Don't go out to the night. That's where monsters lurk. Same with Gaia. Be afraid of the form. And yet we're here to embody the form. We're in this existence for a reason, because there's things in the form that consciousness can learn about that it can't learn about any other way. So it's really getting back to reconnecting with these ancient forces as part of us, not to be afraid of the dark, to be able to be with the night. The night allows the stars to emerge, to allow your stars to emerge, to know yourself as an alchemist, because you are. Just look into the body, look at the processes that are occurring in the cells. All the time, they're creating. It's within. The chaos, you know, even though it started as the void and the chasm, it wasn't until later, again, in alignment with the more patriarchal stance that I think it was Ovid that brought in, oh, chaos is disorder and so on. I kind of like that frequency was brought in that if we can connect with the goddess chaos within us, we can be the center of the storm. We can be at peace no matter what's going on around us. We don't have to get taken out by being overwhelmed or by other people's energies coming in at us. We can really be the master of those energies of just going to let that flow through. I don't need to take that on. Right. So I like it. I think it's juicy to connect with these and for Gaia to be in the body, right? To all that ability to bring into form, to manifest, that she brings through.
Yeah, I love this evocation, and I think if we, while listening to you, pay attention to what's going on inside and how are things moving, what is being triggered, is there any discomfort arising? There are two things that I want to comment on. First, I'd like everyone to check in. I believe that chaos is maybe the one that has the strongest connotation, that or maybe it's my own, but it may be for it's I certainly carry this. So thank you for bringing this to my attention, Margo. But I believe that it is a much more widespread, that just the evocation of chaos is like, oof. And when you mention the chaos within, there's, even though I can walk myself to a point of being comfortable with it, there's a first reaction of like, whoa, like, don't take me there, right? Like a pushback, a resistance and a pushback. And I feel even more for chaos than for the other ones. Now, what's important though to keep in mind is that even though these goddesses and the roles also in the society have been suppressed, manipulated, suppressed, depleted, right, put down, as forces of nature, they are still there within, right? They have been hidden and everything,
Exactly.
as you mentioned, but as forces of nature, they are still there, and they are still out there, but they are still within as well. And that has not been lost and cannot be lost, right? But the connection with them is lost, has been lost. So can you talk about how we are impacted with this loss of connection within?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really disconnecting for us. It disconnects our masculine and our feminine. And again, that was the point of the patriarchal forces, was to disconnect, right? Again, don't serve yourself, your family, not even, divine. It served those powers at B that want to make sure that we're defended and we have more resources. That comes first. And so it can feed into the people pleaser, right? I got to make sure everybody else is looked after before myself. It can feed into really a loss of sense of belonging. It can feed into a loss of connection with our bodies, what you were just talking about. There's so much information, right? These forces say the rational mind, rely on the rational mind. Intuition is fickle. You can't trust that. No, right? Cut us off here. Don't get into the body.
It's all making things up, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Dismissing.
The whole emotionality, right? That's part of the control. Don't show your emotions. Oh, you show your emotions and you're labeled as hysterical.
Right.
You can actually, your husband could put you away for that because they owned you. She's hysterical. We got to put her in an institution. So yeah, very much this separation, this disconnection from a deeper level of accessing that intuition within us because of all that suppression that occurred. So there's magic there, right? To be opened up, to allow, many cultures did some type of dance, right? Ecstatic dance. And it was actually to put them into a deeper connection, a deeper divine connection, into a trance state. But when, you know, the ones who are, no, you've got to be in control of yourself, came and saw that, well, they're lesser people, they're savages. You can't just be wild and free like that and spinning around, and, you know, that's low class. And so again, a disconnection from really getting into the body, being deeply grounded within, becoming masters of our form, of the form principle. Not necessarily controlling, but mastery of the physical plane. Mastery of the physical plane is a way, and through your body, into transcendence. The body does have limitations. The spirit doesn't, but it came into the body for a reason. And yet the body you're given is exactly the body you need to fulfill your purpose in living uniquely as you. And this is another piece that wants to be woken up in a greater way, living as your sovereign self, seeing the beauty of your form, of yourself, of the wholeness of you, knowing deeply that you are part of the totality. You always were. You came from that initial, and you'll be there at the end, wherever that goes. You're always there. People talk about, you know, oh, that person's an old soul. Guess what? You're all old souls. You're all there at the beginning.
Yeah.
So yes, self-love, right? Really, when you accept the limitation of the form and see the beauty in it. And gosh, I mean, if you stood back from your form and saw all the processes that are going on within every single cell, with every grouping of cells, within every organ, it would seem like mass chaos. And yet it's all perfect. There's order within the disorder. It's a way to start connecting in with the positive side of that chaos energy. I can sit here in peace, and yet all this stuff is going on within me. My body knows how to handle that. It's the mind that has trouble, a little trouble, handling all the inputs coming in. So much to gain, so much to access.
Yeah, starting with throwing panic right in front of the chaos and reacting with panic and agitation, and there you are out of your central point of peace and out of your power already, right? So
yeah, exactly. Losing that place of centering, getting swept up in the, you know, swirling chaos instead of being at the center and centered within yourself, within that energy. So when you really come into acceptance and love of your form and recognizing that you are unique, that combination of soul, spirit, however you want to refer to it, consciousness within you and your form, the combination is unique to you. You are incomparable. When you recognize that you are incomparable and stop then comparing yourself to others, whoa, that's love. That is self-love. And then that can radiate out. And as you release all these layers of density placed on both your masculine and feminine, from the ripples, you know, it was about 5,000 years, they trace back the start of the patriarchy, 5,000 years, right? And still going. Lots of it still going, right? It's very, 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 very deep.
it is.
Yeah, so many fears, so many limiting beliefs about ourselves, that just as we excavate those out, not only is the wild feminine kind of released, right? Like it's okay to dance and to move and to be in yourself and to be with the emotions with the intention of getting the messages under them, not just splattering them all over. right? You actually befriend your emotions, and it's, oh, what are they telling me here?
Mm-hmm.
It allows that internal dance, that radiance to move out. And also your masculine, all the suppression, follow your father's footsteps. Do what you're told. Step into those shoes. Yeah. Whew. He can
Yeah.
also, your inner masculine also starts to step into his divine nature, his noble nature in a greater way. Power with, not power over. When that's happening within, wow, what beauty is created. And again, that starts to ripple out into your outer relationships. It can't not happen.
Right. As you just said, power with, not power over. What it looks to me like power over is actually, it's actually not power, it's force. And what I'm being shown for a while as I listen to you, Margo, is how in this patriarchal system of 5,000 years of, and as you say, and running, it's like I'm being shown how we've been turned into puppets, but puppets that are like empty puppets that can be danced and according to specific scenarios and the division of tasks, right? So
Yeah.
the men do this, go to war and do the work, and it may seem that there's a male domination, but they're actually as much puppeted as the women are in a different way. But they have been turned into instruments of force as opposed to being instruments of power and of synergy and power with. And on the side of the women, the suppression and all that. And so I can see actually what I'm being shown is these two puppets, they are equally empty of power, actually, empty of inherent, intrinsic power. The power of nature is no longer animating them, right? And that's what needs to be reclaimed for the benefit of both. That, as you said, the reclaiming of the forces of night and chaos and form not only impacts and brings back the feminine, but it's affecting obviously the masculine and the males as well, and the whole orchestration, right? It's like
Yes.
giving the life, but the divine life back to these puppets, that they become no longer just string puppets, but they take back their divine nature, is what I'm sensing.
Yeah. And taking back your authority. I mean, one thing that, if we look in the past, it was very much about worshiping external gods, goddesses, whatever it might be, right? But really reclaiming, or might be for the first time in some cases, the divine nature within. You are your own authority. This is coming into being your sovereign self. And it, not in a selfish way, right? It allows you then to really serve from your authentic nature, not being pulled in exactly to roles that, oh, well, this is the one that's going to increase my status. Oh, this is the one that's, going to do it for us. This is the one that's going to allow me to survive, depending on what it is that's pulling on you and what the fears are that, are most present for you. And so, yeah, really, as you come into that sovereign self, you belong here. You know you belong here. You know you belong in the totality. You know that your body is a vessel for awakening. You can enjoy the ride. You can sit in the void as a sanctuary and really hear your own truth in the midst of the chaos around you. All the little voices pulling, right, from others. Yeah, okay. But I'm centered in myself. I'm connected to my body and all the input that's coming in here. All those beautiful knowings that can come in, or feelings, or what you hear, what you see too. But the night invites us to really open up those other senses as well. Yes, the eyes are beautiful. That allows our spirit to take in a whole different set of perceptions each incarnation. But so do the other senses. And we don't want to kind of drop them by the way. You know, even when I think about people developing their intuition, so many people are like, I want to be clairvoyant. I want to be clairvoyant. I want to open up my vision, right? As if that's somehow at a higher level than all the others. And what if you're an amazing clairgnostic person? Like, wow, you have knowings that come in like that are so accurate. Or, you know, that clear feeling, that clear sentience. And you're missing it because you're so focused on, oh, it's, you know, clairvoyance is what it's all about.
Well, and you know, as I listen to you, Margo, I'm kind of sensing within, I'm wondering if this doesn't have to do again with the light, because, well, with our eyes open, whether it's our physical eyes or our inner eye and eyes, when we can see in the light, right? And it feels good when we can see in the light. Yet when we want to perceive in other ways, we close our eyes. It's almost as if we have to kind of shut down the vision, the sight is so overpowering, right? Yeah. Dominant, because of this fascination for the light, that in order to access the other senses, we need to shut this one, or to not maybe shut it down, but at least to lower its intensity, because it seems to captivate us so much, right? To grab so much of our attention. Where is the light? Where is the light? Where, right? It kind of goes with this whole construction of the patriarchy, that it's tricking us in this obsession with seeing, right? And well, we don't see so well in the dark unless we train ourselves to see in the dark, right? And perceive the subtle. But there's this overwhelming fascination for the sight, the vision. And so what do you think about this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's not, and vision is beautiful. Oh my gosh, the things, I'm so glad I have vision, all the beautiful things that we're able to see. But again, we have these other senses, and the emphasis has been on what you see is what's real. What you see is what's real. And yet we know about all the optical illusions, right? People make professions being illusionists. It's all based on sight, right? So when, yes, of course, foster the sight, but let's foster the other senses as well. This is the invitation that the night brings, is to allow those other senses to awaken, to open up, to, I mean, wow, what a partnership as they all come forth, right? So and yeah, to have this hierarchy.
And allowing the insights, the whatever, the substance, let's say the intuitive substance, to come through in whatever way is relevant at the moment, and for whatever is the purpose, right? For me, I get visions, not all the time, but when I get them, like, they just come spontaneously, and they are very, very compelling. Like, I know they are taking me somewhere. But I don't have like 100% clairvoyance all the time, or, you know, So it's more like the visions come when the visual form is what is relevant, is what I'm sensing, and that there's an orchestration of the different senses, that out of the mystery speaks to us and addresses us and makes itself perceptible to us in whatever form is relevant at the moment and for the purpose. So that's one thing. The other thing, when you said that there's something which is very true about if we see it, it is real, and it is real when we see it. Well, the flip side of it is if we don't see it, it doesn't exist, which dismisses everything that's in the night, everything that's in the darkness, everything that's in the shadow. You don't see it, it doesn't exist. And that's again back to this whole configuration, manipulation, construct, and puppeteering, right? And
Exactly.
dismissing the night.
Exactly. Exactly. So we have this beautiful blending that in the ideal, it's not one is better than the other. It's that they're working in harmony. They're in a partnership. You know, it's funny, in the night, one of her children was the day. And it was said, you know, there was a house where they met at the door, change it out every day. But in the way that it was presented, it was like, oh, they can't live with each other kind of thing. Like, it was very derogatory. And I'm thinking, I don't think that's the case. I think the mother is perfectly fine with letting her daughter shine, right? And having this rotation. The divine feminine is perfectly fine with that, with letting one shine their light, and then, okay, now it's time for night, right? And having that. But it's interesting, the little kind of sidebars, the little sidelines, you know, kind of woven into that was still diminishing and derogatory. Yeah. This is a problem. I think it worked. Yeah.
So as you evoke all these forces, I think we can maybe sense them being present, if only a bit, or we realize, we start remembering, or you remind us that they are present within us. Now, when we reclaim our connection with them, with that which is inherently within us, what is possible, what can open up for us when we reclaim
this? This for me, it's about connecting with your mystical nature, really bringing the sacred to everyday life, being able to sit embodied within yourself, not trying to escape out of yourself, right? A lot of people are trying to escape out of their body. Let me out of here. And understanding, yes, you can move to a new level of transcendence through that embodiment, that mastery, again, of the physical nature, to be able to be at home in your body, in the midst of chaos. Yeah, I'm cozied in, centered within myself, can sit in that void. It's actually a sanctuary within you. Sit in the cave of your heart. And to be able then to listen, to know, to hear, to sense, to feel your own truth within it, what's correct, to be comfortable with the unseen, the unknown. So many people with the fears that were projected into this are afraid of the future. We're afraid of the future, and that takes us out of the present where we receive the information. So the more you can be present within, this is another invitation from this energy, the more you get what's coming through for you, the more comfortable you are just staying centered while things swirl around you. It's almost like a centrifuge then going around you, right? Things that aren't of value, aren't relevant, they can just get moved to the outside. things that are really okay, of value, can move inwards, and you can take it and be with it, nothing forced, nothing hurried. Again, in the patriarchy, it's like, gotta happen now, force, push through. It's exhausting. Right? We can allow for that alchemy to occur. That what does get pulled in is mixing with that, in that primordial soup, where we drop in our intention and allow the alchemy to occur, allow the creation to emerge, those inner stars to come forward, really feeling then that you truly do belong, and moving into that higher state of awakening. But also, you're going to be more connected with your physical body. Your body is your Gaia. It's your earth. And when you can, in an easier way, receive those messages that we were talking about, all that comes through that's not through vision, all from the unseen, all this wisdom and information that is there within you, and that you will magnetize in when you can just sit with it, it starts to come to you. You can be that receptive, moving between the receptive and the active in a very present, conscious way. So it's almost balancing too, like, in a lot of Eastern philosophies, it's almost about everything about the spirit and like push away the material. And in the Western, it's like, consume.
Right.
Right? But the master is about, you have everything that you need in the material. You can enjoy the beautiful things that are there without being attached to them. You're not going to be devastated if there's a fire and things are destroyed. You enjoy the beauty of them for however long they are there. Everything has a beginning, middle, and an end, including us in this incarnation. And be okay with it, and allow it, and be present. And then again, you can claim that sovereignty. You can live as your authentic self, just knowing, again, you're incomparable. You are a piece of the totality. It just is. And move into full acceptance of that. Whew, that's freedom.
Absolute freedom, right? And pure freedom, like that's real, true freedom. It is.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Very inspiring. Very, very inspiring. So, big question now, Margo, how do we do that? Well, we are blessed to have you to not only reveal all this to us and make us discover and understand and make sense of it, right? And make sense not only in our head, but make sense. Like I'm having lots of sensations and representations of what the evocation that you're giving us within my body, right? That echoes things that I'm perceiving maybe more visually, or so it makes sense. Now you're not only there to make sense with us and to allow us to make sense of it, but also to take that or those steps actually to take us on a journey to reclaim these inner forces, these primordial forces. So you've created a wonderful offering, Primordial Goddess Connection and Embodiment, and we'd love to hear all about it. So for everyone to follow, you can go to gracefulconnections.com/Margo3, MARGO3, gracefulconnections.com/Margo3. Or if you're on the replay, just scroll down the page to discover Margo's special offer. So Margo, please reveal what you have created for our audience.
Yes, Primordial Goddess Connection and Embodiment. Reclaim your mystical relationship to the originating feminine forces of night, chaos, and form for love, creativity, belonging, and manifestation. And I want to say too that, you know, masculine, feminine, men, women, right? We've talked about this. Both are going to benefit from this, and within yourself as well. So yeah, oh my gosh, bringing back the trust and releasing the fears of what lurks in the night. You know, another fear that's been put into place, let's say installed in this puppeting, is fear of creative power, fear of your creative power, fear of being powerful. Because, you know, there's a certain perspective you have of what power does, and it's not so good. Do I want to be that? There's a whole different way. There's a whole different way when we bring the masculine and feminine together, right? So yeah, so option one, this is called Nyx, Chaos, and Gaia Mystical Embodiment. And so there's going to be a virtual retreat, but before that, there's going to be a pre-retreat live Q&A call. And this is a chance to gather together to share experiences from a clearing workshop that I'll talk about later. So I can check in on you, see how you're doing, what's coming up next, so that you're really prepared going into the retreat with the information that you need, really setting you up for just getting the most and really evoking these forces of nature, these powers of nature within you, really being able to embody them. So the second item is the Empowering Your Sacred Self virtual retreat, creating the inner ecstatic dance of life and calling forth the divine masculine, right? We want to bring that masculine feminine up into their next level, working together within you. So this is a 2.5-hour retreat, really designed to amp up that connection and embodiment of the light of the dark, of that wild feminine nature, connecting more deeply with those essences. We'll do some clearing work there from the pre-retreat call, what's come up there. So we need to just really clean out so that you can just be present in that beautiful alchemist void that lies within you to receive, because you're going to be getting your personal activation. So although the retreat is with the group, wow, this is part of the divine feminine nature is coming together in support and cooperation and collaboration. And so you're going to receive your personal activation and infusion of the nature ally frequencies that are coming in just for you. I'm going to be connecting in with your higher self to see what your being really is calling forth to support you in that deeper connection, in knowing yourself as a creative force of nature, and inviting you into that ecstatic dance of life within, right? Doesn't mean that you necessarily, you know, woo, you're gonna go all wild. Some of you might, right? Depends on your personality, right? How it likes to express itself. Others are, you know, more internal in their way, but still the ecstatic dance is happening within your being. So as you receive that, you'll be witness, of course, in the group environment. When one receives, we all receive according to our higher selves and what's correct for us. It's really wonderful to be witness in the receiving of that, in the activation of these energies. And we'll be calling forth then the noble divine masculine frequencies that support and honor and protect the night and chaos and Gaia essences, right? It brings that yang active principle to the transformative process to take action in harmony and partnership with your divine, with a real understanding of the actions of one on the whole, on the totality. And just letting that essence, that partnership, that harmony radiate out. It's going to both allow you to be comfortable being in the receptive, being patient with that. The feminine's not in any hurry. Right? Despite the lower masculine, push, push, push. This now allows the masculine to take the pressure off and step into that noble role in a greater way of really caretaking that creative process, allowing for actually supporting the creating space for that alchemy to occur, and then taking action when it's time. So we'll bring your masculine and feminine to that divine dance of love to magnify your love of self, of all, your sense of wholeness and empowerment with the manifestation process. Then we're going to have a follow-up. So sometimes, we have a beautiful retreat and then we go away and we're feeling really good. And then we've opened up space and something else that might come up that we bumped into. Okay, how are we going to navigate this? This is an opportunity. It'll be about a month after the retreat to check. I want to check on your integration from the retreat. I can answer any questions. We can discuss how you can integrate the inner divine forces of nature even more into your everyday life. We'll really let the questions and the energies present guide the discussion there. So there'll be some openness there. Then we move to option 2. And option 2 is the journey to get to the retreat. Right. So if you select option 1, you get everything in option 2. We're not just going to throw you into the retreat right away. We've got some things to do. We have a little journey to take together before we get there. So here we're going to kick off with an orientation and invocation call. And so we're going to set the container for the program, for everyone that's participating. We're going to call forth those essences of Goddess, Nyx, Chaos, and Gaia. And we also want to really evoke them, do our initial evoking of these essences within you. And that really is going to start preparing your energetic system for receiving, for releasing what needs to be released, taking in what is there to take in through this program. And I'm going to do a little attunement for you there with the energies of cave. This is the abode of night, a very important place where Gaia was worshipped, was often in cave settings, and diamond, right? Created by the pressure of turning coal into this gem. And so in that alchemical process, again, we're awakening the alchemist within you. Then we're going to move into a masterclass where we get to discuss in more depth what we talked about today, really understanding these forces of nature of Nyx, Chaos, and Gaia. Answering questions, having some discussion around that, talking about the mythology. We're going to go much, much deeper. We talked about a few of the fears and the impacts and the limiting beliefs that were created through the patriarchal philosophy. I got a list of them. So we're going to go through them, talk about other things that you might see coming up as well, because these are the things that we need to be releasing during the clearing workshop, the healing workshop. The next item is applied practices. So we're going to be doing some practices. I'm going to be giving you some video and audio tutorials, some PDFs. I'm just going to gently bring them out, a few days at a time. We're going to spend about 1 week with each of the goddess energies, but their energies do overlap. So yeah, there'll be some overlap there, but we want to put these goddess qualities into practice. And we also want to see where you're bumping up against resistances. So Sophie, you were talking about that, ooh, I'm feeling different things in my body happening here, right? When we're talking about some of these energies, especially the suppressing energies. Yeah, we need to really start digging out in even a deeper way. What are the ones that are sitting in your system? What's come through your ancestral line? What's come through your past timelines? that is sitting in your field now and holding you back from really embodying these primordial essences. Then we're going to have a Zoom call together, because sometimes questions come up with the practices and so on. So once we're getting towards the end of the practices, the applied practices, we're going to gather again and collect those gems of wisdom. How have you done with them? What have you really noticed? What's come up for you? What's opened up for you? What are you noticing? What's been illuminated? What shadow aspects have been revealed? What's worked really well for you as we've gone through the practices? You've got freedom to play with them, and there might be something you stumble upon that you can share that's really going to help others in the group, and you get a chance for my feedback as well there, and encouragement. And any place where confusions come up or uncertainty, yeah, this is a time to ask those questions. Everyone's going to receive 3 intuitive readings from me as well prior to the workshop, one for each of those goddess energies. So what is the primary aspect that's interfering with accessing your inner night, your inner chaos, your inner Gaia forces of nature? And a lot of times when you get those, aha, yes, I see how that's been playing out. Or it might be, oh, and then you let it roll around for a few days, and okay, yeah, I see that. Next, we're going to move into the workshop. This is releasing to reclaim your primordial goddess forces of nature connection. So it's about 2 hours, and this is clearing and healing work now. So those limiting patterns, those things that have been those old fears, the puppeting you were talking about, right? Let's do some deep clearing on that. I'll take you through a sacred journey to support releasing those limiting aspects. Of course, we want to acknowledge them. These aspects, they're not trying to be bad or, stay in the shadow. They really think that they're supporting you. So we want to bring gratitude to them as we allow them to transform, receive their lessons, receive their blessings. And also through the healing work, because a lot of the suppression, a lot of it was coming from the masculine, but there was also a lot of buy-in from the feminine too. The masculine was not alone in creating this patriarchal philosophy. But there's a lot of releasing for your inner masculine. So through that healing work, it's going to really help that yang force within you to up-level, to step into more of his divine nature, and to be okay. Right? The divine masculine loves the wild feminine, and again, the degree of wildness in the literal really varies from person to person. We are all unique again, but he just thinks that's magical. So we want to evoke that, to wake that to part out. And I'm going to be channeling some energies in to support then the embodiment of the essences, to really start connecting with them in a deeper way. And then we'll do a process to harmonize and balance those energies within you, creating a deeper love relationship between your own masculine and feminine nature. Yeah. So then that's when you would loop back to option 2. You have the pre-retreat call, you've got the retreat, and you've got the post-retreat call. All this is going to set you up for getting the most benefit possible out of that retreat where we gather together. So yeah, I'm excited. Oh, you're muted, Sophie.
Sorry. Yes, I love what you've been inspired to create, Margo, and how, well, there's many things that I love. The totality of it. I love that it's such a journey, and it is an epic journey, right? It's even an odyssey, I think. And I love how, well, you are very consistent and congruent with yourself and with your yourself as a nature mystic, right? You know that things take time, and that there's a maturation process to everything, to every creation. And so you've embedded this, the pace. There's a pacing that feels very natural, allowing, well, keeping a good tempo,
It's
but
allowing.
allowing the
Yeah.
maturation, right? Getting things done, but allowing the maturation. And it brings really this uh, sense that we are embarking on a magnificent journey. So I really love that. So again, to wrap up with option 2, you take the journey from the orientation call, intention call. That's when you embark on the journey. You take the whole journey all the way to the releasing in order to reclaim your primordial goddesses. That's with the workshop. That's option 2. All the different steps, all the different elements that Margo has described. And if you take option 1, that's the full package, then you take it further even with the retreat. So with the pre-retreat, retreat, and post-retreat. What I love also is how in this journey you take care of the masculine, of the inner masculine. You don't just bring up and care to reclaim our feminine night, chaos, and form, and then let the masculine, well, now you deal with the new situation with it, and you just deal with it. That would be, well, that would create inner chaos, not in the good way, right? It would just keep things
Exactly.
going on it feels insane, right? Like throwing some insanity inside. So the way you care for the masculine to be supported, to rise to the occasion, and to click in place into his role as the noble masculine, so that the whole of the self is not only upgraded but liberated, right? I feel it's a liberation to what you mentioned earlier, the freedom, the true freedom that arises. So I love all this. For everyone, this whole journey, epic journey, this Odyssey is very generously priced, and it comes with a 2 payment, even 3 payment plans, so that you can get your ticket and get on board. A couple of Margo, questions. One more practical, maybe, when you were talking about the practices, the applied practices to connect with the primordial goddess energies, these practices, well, we're going to use them during the journey, but are these practices that we can keep using afterward, even later on, that
Yeah,
are going to be ours if we want to adopt them, that are going to be useful
absolutely.
for us forever, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, you'll be able to continue to come back to them, to learn from them, to grow from them, keep the ones that resonate with you, let go of others, but you might come back later and realize, wow, I want to do that one now. Right? This is
Right.
resonating now, right? Sometimes in that maturation process, one thing is calling out to us more than another, and that's okay. This is part of the journey. Trying different things out, seeing what fits you right now, right? And then as you kind of shift and grow and morph, the feminine is also a shapeshifter. All right, she's an alchemical shapeshifter. She can shapeshift emotions, and she can shapeshift limiting beliefs, and she's got this beautiful shapeshifting energy. As you go through and you're shifting more and more into your authentic self, it might be like, oh, this one now. Ooh, I want to test this out a little more. See where this one's going to take me. So yeah, you're really going to have a bunch of tools in your tool belt to support you. And everything is placed. I have a programs area on my website. You'll have direct access to them, but everything will be there as long as I have my website it'll be there. You'll have access to it. All the replays get put there so you can see everything all in one space and place and access it anytime that you like as well. So that's also included.
Wonderful. Okay, so we're going to be able to cultivate these inner forces of nature, to keep cultivating them through many, many seasons. So that's really wonderful. Now, another question, big question. Who needs this program?
Yeah, so this is for you. Gosh, if you want to open up, I mean, I could just talk about all the positive side of things. If you want to open up to a more beautiful divine dance between your masculine and your feminine, if you are someone who really has issue though with overwhelm, with being in your body, if you notice, yeah, you know, I have resistance to the dark. I have resistance to being in a place of chaos. It takes me right out. This happens to a lot of people, right? When there's chaos coming in, something, I just want to get out of there. I don't know what to do. You know, they just freeze. If you do not love your body as it is, this is for you. So yeah, if you recognize that these, you know, I got to make things happen energy, the feminine suppressed. All the fears that we talked about, if you notice that they're present from them, if you really have a lot of anxiety about the future, about the unknown, about what you can't see, this is a program that's for you. And if you just want to open up to a greater ecstatic dance of life and being in it, this is for you.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for that. I felt when you said if you are not, I can't remember how you said, but comfortable or comfortable with your own body. I feel that this is a big chunk. This is a big item that many may resonate with and maybe wouldn't associate that many of the answers are lying there, and that's this reclaiming of these inner forces is going to bring you there, right? Because of the form, again, the Gaia goddess, the form, and but also her relationship with the night, with the chaos, all of that is gonna bring the experience of form, of being in a form, being a form, experiencing a form. It's going to bring this to a whole new level, to a whole new degree of love. And the 4 key words for this program: love, creativity, belonging, manifestation. Well, if you want, I'm sensing that if you want more of these, or if you're struggling with any of these, then this is where you want to embark on this journey, right? So
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Margo. So
Thank you.
we'd love to have an experience with you to get a taste of your magic, meeting our essence of night. So if there's anything you want to share about it, please do so. And when you're ready, we are ready to experience it. Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to go into the sacred cave of the heart. And I'll be asking some questions. I'll be asking some contemplation questions as we go along. So you may want to note things down, but really, I'll take you into a space of getting into the body. But let's just see if any resistances are coming up with this one force of nature. Okay, all right. So nice full deep breaths. With each breath, just relaxing more and more into yourself. I'm calling forth the essence of night, the goddess Nyx. with her eyes of stars, the one who birthed the stars, said to have birthed existence. With her power, her beauty, her grace, know that this essence lies within you. Breathing deeply. Sinking down into yourself, into your earth, your Gaia. And allowing yourself to connect in, heart to heart, with Mother Earth, Mother Gaia. A beautiful stream of light from your heart to her heart. That beautiful ball of light in the center of the earth. And it's a two-way channel. As love and gratitude flows from her heart to yours. And as you continue to breathe and ground, allowing yourself to sink down. Imagine yourself, that beautiful channel between you and Gaia, that it's a pathway that you can follow, that you can sink down into, down, down, down. Allowing yourself to move right down into the heart of Gaia. Her arms open, she welcomes you into the cave of her heart. Allow her to nourish you, to know that you're loved, and to move your attention now into the cave of your own heart. Moving your awareness into the space of your heart. If you're having any difficulty with that, you can just gently put your hand over your heart or gently tap on your sternum, your breastbone. Just moving your awareness down into your heart. The cave is the place of mystics, of being comfortable with the unseen, the unknown. And so just standing at the cave of your heart, you know there's so much wisdom there. Are you ready to enter? Just check in. Is there any resistance, any constriction? Any fear? Just stepping forward into the entrance. Breathing. Relaxing into this space. Feeling your way along now. As you move into the cave, it becomes darker and darker. Again, just notice if there's any fear, any resistance. Moving into the space of the night. Your inner goddess, Nyx, your night. This originating force of nature is there to greet you within the depths of this cave of your heart. You can't see her. Let yourself feel her, sense her, know that she's there. You might sense the energy of her, right? All this alchemical nature, all the primordial ingredients for bringing into form, for manifestation. You might hear her. You might just know that she's there. You can use your energetic touch if you want. Maybe you're going to touch her and sense her that way. Just be in the allowing. Again, just checking in with your form. As you go deeper into the night, deeper into this connection. Any resistance, any fears. And you feel invited to sit in the depths of this cave. Complete darkness. Allowing yourself to merge with the night, to shapeshift into the night. Primordial night, the starless night, and yet with the potential for all. Notice if there's any resistance. This power of creation that you are. Letting yourself expand into that, the infinite night, your infinite nature. You sense the expansiveness. You feel all the chemistry, all the potentiality within you. Letting every cell of your body awaken to this expansion, this creative potential. Notice any resistance. Notice if there's any limitations on your expansiveness. Notice if there's anything trying to squash you down. Trying to suppress the freedom of this expansion. Nice full deep breath. Allowing yourself to shapeshift back into your you-ness. And yet knowing that this is part of your you-ness. Sense yourself sitting on the floor of this cave. And now standing. Just feeling your way back to the entrance. Notice if there's any resistance. Notice if you're at ease with taking your time or you're running back to the entrance. Thanking the essence of night within. Thanking Mother Gaia for holding you in this beautiful space as you travel back up that connection. Back up, up, up. And also taking in that sense of, was going downward into Gaia. Was there any resistance to that? Are you used to going upwards to connect? Thanking Gaia, thanking chaos, thanking Nyx. Night chaos form. One more nice full deep breath. Slowly going back to now, just wiggling your fingers and toes, moving around a little bit. Opening your eyes. Giving yourself a big stretch. Giving yourself a big hug. Yeah, good. Thank you. And just make note of what came up for you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Margo. What a journey. I get tears in my eyes. It was so profound. And obviously, everyone has their own experience, and I feel we need to stay with our own experience. But one thing I would like to comment on is how there's such a deep sense of peace that was reached very, I would say quickly, but it's not even the point of is it quick or not, very easily, very naturally. And I'm getting, well, when the activity in the daylight is getting too much, right? Too much light, maybe too much noise, too much agitation, too much going on. We can go within and so easily find this peace. Now, obviously, that's what we do when we practice meditation, but it's kind of a different way or a different path of meditation in which we go and meet and gather with Nyx in this instance, and it feels so powerful to have this path. It's like a whole new path to inner peace that is found by going to meet the night within, when especially whenever we want, but especially when the daylight activity is too intense, overwhelming, maybe. There's such an ease to find the peace and the calm, but also a calm that is fertile, right? That is not rigid, frozen. We can feel that there is this presence for creation, creativity. And so that's the experience of meeting with one of them now when we connect, and it's a meeting, right? It was a short
Yeah.
encounter,
Yeah.
but when we fully connect and reclaim her within, and not only her, Nyx, but also chaos and form Gaia, it feels so powerful to me. It feels like, yes, a whole new path to access the wealth of what is present within. And that, well, yeah, it was showing to me as maybe a way to find refuge, but it's not only to find refuge, it's for so much more. But that's what I felt like commenting upon. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Margo.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, more to come in the program. That was just a
Yeah.
little taster.
Yeah, we want to, I mean, we want to live with them. We want to, yeah, live with them, go play with them, discover, and have this ability to find them within, just naturally because they are there, right?
Yeah,
To
exactly.
to to reach out to
Exactly.
them effortlessly, naturally, effortlessly.
Yeah, this is what we're working towards, sort of connecting, opening that up
Right.
first, but
Yeah,
then moving
yeah,
to embodiment, to knowing they're ever present within us, to knowing, to be able to just get into that place of centering of peace, as you were mentioning, with everything going on around, just
mhm,
like that. It's not hiding in the cave.
right.
It's going into the cave as a process, as a place of power, as this place of alchemy. So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Wow. Well, yes, it does give us a taste of what's possible, and what's going to happen through this journey, what's going to unfold. So again, let me, before giving you the closing word, Margo, I want to wrap up. So everyone, go to gracefulconnections.com/Margo3, or just scroll down the page for everything about primordial goddess connection and embodiment. Option 1, the full program, the full package, the full Odyssey, mystical empowerment, mystical embodiment of Nyx, Gaia, and chaos, includes the orientation call, the masterclass, exploring Goddess Nyx, Chaos, and Gaia. That's going to be fascinating for sure, because it's not going to be standard information. And I mean, even just today you've revealed to me, certainly, and I'm sure to many. I mean, yes, you said we are familiar with Gaia, but Nyx and Chaos, that's a whole new discovery. So we're going to explore the three of them, the applied practices to connect with them, collecting the gems of wisdom, 3 intuitive readings, all of this in preparation for the workshop. In the workshop, clearing to reclaim the primordial goddesses within. So that's option 2, the journey goes all this way. And option 1, you then embark on the pre-retreat, and then the retreat itself, empowering your sacred inner goddesses, live retreat, and then the retreat follow-up to really cultivate what was experienced, discovered, generated during, and seeded during the retreat. 2 payment plans, 3 payment plan, and yeah, really wonderful journey. Let's get on board. Let's get on board now. And I want to mention that we meet again on Friday, March 29th at 8 p.m. Pacific. Please note the special time. It's going to be 8 p.m. Pacific for live intuitive readings galore with Margo. Margo will read for you what is suppressing my connection to my forces of nature. Of course, if you can't attend the live call, make sure to request your reading in advance and then catch up with the replay to receive Margo's insights and wisdom. You'll have the link in the video description. Margo, is there any word of closing you would like to offer? Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, just really, well, we're in eclipse season right now, veiling and unveiling. Allow those frequencies to really support you. And I just want everybody to know, I know that you are incomparable. I want you to know it too, and to know that you are a powerful force of nature, and it's not something that you have to fear. That it's it's ready to be awakened within you. So I invite you if it calls to you to join me in the program. And yeah, and of course it's me, so it's going to be fun too. So.
For sure, that's for sure. Yes. And it's an important point you just made, because this awakens our sovereignty and our uniqueness, right? Totally reclaiming, owning our absolute uniqueness, the freedom you talked about, the freedom, the pure freedom, and the expression of our uniqueness. Very beautiful, magnificent. Thank you so much, Margo. Let's take a moment to be present once again to the orb of grace, allowing it to remain there, holding us, holding all that we have discovered, received, experienced today, all that we're not even yet aware of that we have received it, allowing it to sink in, to settle in, as we are safely held in the orb of grace. For as long as it serves our highest good, our evolution, and the highest good of all. And I'm closing now by giving gratitude to each and every one of you in the audience. Thank you for answering yes to the calling of grace and the calling of your mystical relationship to the originating feminine forces of night, chaos, and form to be reclaimed for love, creativity, belonging, manifestation, sovereignty, freedom, uniqueness. And so much more that's going to reveal itself during the journey, on the journey. Immense gratitude to you, Margo, amazing Margo Fraser, for all the wisdom, the brilliance, the offerings you have gifted us today through all the graceful connections that have been woven with you and your masterful expertise. Thank you, Margo.
Thank you.
Gratitude to Christel Hughes and the Academy for the Soul for offering this platform in which graceful connections grow and expand, impacting our lives, our environment, and the world at large as we step into living our divine radiance. Gratitude to the Orb of Grace for providing a safe, sacred space for this journey of exploration. And gratitude for all the grace we are blessed with at every moment, whether we are aware of it or not. It offers all the nourishment, the nurturing, the healing, the revelations, the realizations that we open our hearts to receive. Gratitude to our higher selves and all the higher beings who guide, support, and protect us. And gratitude to the divine. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Until we meet again, many graceful blessings to you all. Thank you, Margo. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye now. Bye.